Hello, welcome to Full Record Jacket. If you're here, you must be a music geek. We are. I'm Phil, he's Ben, and we're ready
Hello.
to draw some more. It's the
Oh,
one-hit wonders of the 90s.
I know, and we discussed today. We've missed a couple of good ones off, haven't we? Again.
Yeah, shall we just, for the benefit of our viewers who've been following this 64-track knockout tournament, you may have, well, some of you have actually suggested ones we missed off, and well, one of those was Birdhouse in Your Soul by They Might
Yes.
Be
Yeah.
Giants. We
Yeah.
had that
Yeah.
suggested, and I think it's a pretty fair suggestion because They Might Be Giants didn't really have any other hits that anyone can
Hits.
remember.
I couldn't even remember their name,
Yeah,
so that's
and I did enjoy that at the time. It was a catchy,
little
groovy sort of
birdhouse in your soul.
American alternative
Yeah.
arty stuff from an album called Flood, which I've actually heard. I've heard that album many years ago, and it was quite wacky and fun. But they didn't make it in. What were the other ones?
Tune in, turn on, cop out by Freak Power, Norman Cook's little side project.
Another Fat Boy Slim production.
Yeah. Yeah. Very. Oh, I haven't heard that song for ages until I put it on today.
Well, you sent me the video. Now that's the one where, if anyone's having difficulty remembering that, it's a sort of groovy,
Tune in,
groovy
cop
beat.
out.
And the first line I think
Let
is
it flow now, mama.
some people are driving too fast. That's the one.
Yeah,
And then let it
yeah,
flow now, mama. Now, you sent me the video. I'd never seen the video to that before. And
yeah,
I always assumed that the guy doing the vocal was a black guy who was maybe a bit like Isaac Hayes or Barry White. Turns
yeah.
out he's not.
He's
Turns out
not
he's
at all.
white, about as white as you, man.
I know. So there we go. But yeah, no, it's very, very cool track. And the other one was, "What do you want from me? It's not how it used to be."
Is that
Monaco.
Prince? Was that Prince's cover you've just done?
No, my trousers are a little bit tight. This G-lay certainly is. So
I don't think Prince actually did cover that. Well, that was Peter Hook from New Order.
it was, yeah, Monaco, yeah.
And
I
am I
think they
right
did
to
release
think?
an album. They did release an album, I believe.
Yeah, am I right to think? So Monaco was his band, or wasn't there a guy in that band who'd been in? Was there another member of New Order in that band as
No,
well?
I don't think so. It's some just as always. We've come prepared with all the knowledge required for a top-rating YouTube show.
I do remember that one now, and that was about '97, wasn't it? I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
I've
being
always had an
played on the
issue
radio.
with certainly more sort of 90s onwards Peter Hook with his bass playing stance. I don't like that sort of bass down by his knees, wide legged sort of.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It looks kind of a bit
like he's
naff. The
trying to
bass
give
players
birth. Yeah,
they sling it too low. I don't know how
yeah,
they can.
yeah.
I don't know how they can play it down there. You know.
No,
I mean,
no. To me, it's like you're a bass player. Be miserable. Just play the top string, and just shut up. And they
now,
did have a second album. They did have two albums, and they actually came back in 2019 um, with a new song called "Higher, Higher, Higher Love." They've not actually released anything since 2000. So, "What Do You Want From Me" came off the '97 album "Music for Pleasure," and they did release a second album, which I didn't think they released a second album, but What Do You Want From Me is actually about Peter Hook's failed relationship with the late comedian Caroline Aherne.
I was going to say that wasn't that what they now in the modern parlance call a diss track?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
was he actually married to her?
No, I'm not overly too
But
sure.
they were certainly an item at one time, and then it all ended. And
But it's got a guy called David Potts, I think, on vocal, and he hasn't got a highlighted blue thing on Wikipedia, so I can't.
so, what I have to ask then, Ben, is: do you think any of those tracks should have been in the draw? Should be inserted in somehow because you think they could potentially be the best one-hit wonder of the '90s?
Well, I think both of them. I mean, we've had Turtle Power and Mock Turtles and the Saw Doctors, whoever it was. So let's face it, Wigfield Saturday Night probably could have. Was it in? I think it was in, wasn't it? But anyway, we've
That
had
was in, yes. That was Saturday Night was in. The Barbie Girl was not in because that
yeah,
was they had
and
another hit.
they did another. So yeah, I think these two could have gone in. Whether they would have got to the final, I don't know. Monaco's a good track. It's very new ordery. But yeah, I mean, some of the dross we've had in. Let's face it.
So are we
Anything could have
dross?
gone in.
Are we anywhere near being dross free yet? What's left in the bowl? We need to get on with it because people have turned on to see
The draw. I've got the
next part of
bag,
the draw.
and I've got the bowl. Bowl of joy, bag of sorrow. Here
So
we
we're
go.
now on the last 16, basically.
We are the last 16. We are the last 16. So what we're going to do, we're going to draw, like we have to before, we're going to draw 4, aren't we? So here we go. And the first one out is a remix, and it's everybody's favourite alternative to Tesco's. It's the Corner Shop and Brimful of Asha.
Okay, the competition is on.
Oh no! Oh, why, Phil? Why? Why did you do? I hate my life. It's up against everybody's favourite bedroom music geek, White Town, and your woman.
Wow.
This is why I hate these competitions, because there comes a point where you have to slaughter your favourite puppy.
Yeah. No, I said we'd do 4 face-offs in this episode, but if we talk for too long, then I'll call a halt and we'll have to move it on to the next episode. But okay, so which of these classics by? Oh, and it's interesting that they're both Brit Asian hits, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
So I don't know. That's a really tough one, actually, for me.
Battered out the park on the first one. Next, we'll probably get something going up against Crisscross or something,
Yeah. Well, that's a difficult one. I actually bought both these singles.
I did as well.
On CD single, and I'm trying to think which one did I play the most. I may have listened to the Corner Shop one more, but I don't know for sure.
I was going to say the only thing that would stop me putting Corner Shop through is the fact that this is the remix, and it had to be remixed in order to get this far
by Norman Cook. Yeah.
And your woman, White Town,
solo
is the original track.
Do you know what? I think you may have won the argument with that angle on it, because that is a very good angle on it.
Mum, and I've won something.
so I think in that, I'm trying to come back with a counter to that to consider anything else about these that I could say.
They're both equally good. That's the trouble. It is like trying to choose which puppy you're going to throw into the lake.
Well, they're both very catchy. I think maybe would it be fair to say as well that White Town is lyrically a little bit superior?
I would say,
it's more cool. It's
more
quite
deeper.
Pointed. It's quite pointed, isn't it, in its concept lyrically?
Yeah.
Whereas Brimful of Asha chucks in these various references, and it doesn't quite make literal sense, does it? In some ways, but it's good. It's fun, and it's all this sort of tribute to this Bollywood star and whatever. But yes, Brimful of Asha did have to be speeded up, didn't it? Really, that was the main that was the main difference, really.
Yeah.
To be that catchy.
I've remixed it. What have you done? I've just sped it up a couple of RPM.
Well, yeah, seeing as
RPM.
Seeing as White Town, he did do it all on his own, made the record as it was, and it was released as was, and that's
a completely different band. No, that's as was,
and was number one as well, wasn't it?
It was number one, yeah.
Was Corner Shop number one? I can't remember.
I'm not. Do you want me to research?
I have a feeling that may have been a number 2. I have a feeling I may have.
I don't think it went to number 1. It might.
Maybe on my mental list of classic number 2s, and it was probably number 2 behind some very middle of the road.
The one thing with the Corner Shop song was I had a really good video. I remember the video was rather quite retro, and it did have a really good cover on the single. Then again, the White Town wasn't like an X-ray hand.
Yes.
So in the UK charts, Brimful of Asha, and this week at number 1 is Corner Shop and Brimful of Asha.
What was it? Number one?
It was number one, yeah. It went to number
Really?
one, yeah. So they
Okay.
both went to number one. It was released 18th of August, 97.
Okay.
And White Town. I know White Town went to number one because I remember the big hoorah about it.
Was that 96?
I think it was. I think it was a little bit. No, it was 97. Released
Early
in
97.
13th of January.
Right.
I remember it being early because I remember it going to number one. I remember buying it from our price, and I remember it being cold.
Well, so they were both 97 as well. It's really interesting those two both came up. I think we're going for White Town, aren't we?
I'm going for White Town, yeah.
Your Woman by White Town is through.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to rip up Brimful of Asha out of pure respect for it. So, well done, White Town.
So, Corner Shop have come to the dead end.
Corner Shop have closed. For the night.
Of course, Corner Shop have closed early.
They've closed early.
Out of business.
Shutters are down. Are we ready for the next one?
You win the pun as well. So, okay, what's next?
It is.
You're winning a lot, Ben.
I know. I'm all about winning. It is Crisscross and Jump. And it's up against... Oh, please be something rubbish, please. There's not much rubbish left. Right. It's up against...
Don't tell me it's Jump Around.
No, you only get what you give by the New Radicals.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. Well, if I suddenly start making an argument that Crisscross are one of the greatest acts in R&B and need to be recognised and have to be put through against anything...
or was it Michael Jackson?
I can't remember that they... I don't think they... We said this before, didn't I? I said this before. I don't think I did see them open for Michael Jackson. I think they were played over the PA in the stadium before Michael Jackson. I don't think they performed. But my memory is hazy on that. But Crisscross, they wore baggy jeans.
Backwards.
They jumped around. Did they start the baggy jeans fashion?
No, because the baggy scene was already in from the Stone Roses and bands like that.
They didn't start the fashion for wearing them slung around you and below your waist.
No, I think the guy on my local market started that.
They weren't that influential.
But they did wear them backwards. They wore all their clothes backwards. It must have been a pain getting ready.
I can't put them through because you will get very upset because you want to put the guy who wrote songs for Ronan Keating through.
All right, Phil.
So,
all right, that's a low blow. Isn't it? Hey?
Well, you did put the Spin Doctors 2 Princes out in the first round.
Yeah, because it was rubbish.
And you did put out something else that I liked as well. I can't think what that was. But, Groove is in the Heart by D-Light. But
that came up against something amazing, didn't it? That wasn't the first round, that's the second round.
It did come up against something good. Okay, well, Crisscross versus the New Radicals.
There's only one winner for me, and it's all
I think it would be too radical to remove the New Radicals from the tournament. So Crisscross are being crossed out.
Crossed out. I was going to say, no, I won't. But you get what you give. You get given into the quarterfinals.
They got it. Life is a roller coaster.
All right, Phil. Enough with the Ronan Keating. You could have thrown in some Melanie C or Sophie Ellis Bextor. Murder on the Dance Floor.
Did he write that as well?
He wrote that as well, yeah.
Really? The Murder on the Dance Floor?
Yeah. Murder on the Dance Floor.
I didn't know that. Okay, that doesn't quite sound... Because the Ronan Keating one does sound a bit like...
And he wrote...
it's one of his, but I didn't know you did that one. Lost
Stars. I think Adam Levine from Maroon 5. God, I've just got no credibility anymore. But yeah, Lost Stars, he wrote that. Let's not... Ooh! If only this one had come out instead of the New Radicals, we would have had a jump off, because it is Jump Around House of Pain. Are you having a fit? You're right, Phil?
I'm fine.
And it's up against... Remember that tank top you bought me? You wrote you're a pillock on it.
Okay, so Baby Bird
versus Jumper. Two completely different songs.
Well, I think we discussed this last time we have to do certain things to maintain our
Credibility.
indie stroke alternative credibility, and one of those things is not allowing Baby Bird to go through against or
Oh,
be
I thought you were
be
going to
beaten
let.
by the House of Pain.
I thought you were going to let Baby, because some of his albums are very sort of in your style. That sort of indie.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm an
As I
indie
say,
boy
I'm not,
anyway, but
we can't let them. We can't possibly put House of Pain through against Baby Bird, can we? I wouldn't have thought we could do that.
oh right, okay. Now
I
I
know.
get you,
That's what
Maxwell.
I'm
No,
trying to
we
say. Yeah,
can't.
we
No,
need to
no.
maintain our credibility. I know
Yeah,
you've made the case for that jump around against certain other records on the basis it's got a bit of attitude and it's a little
yeah,
bit
yeah. And it
fun
mentions
and
John McEnroe and Arnold
fun and stuff.
Schwarzenegger.
But eventually it was going to come up against something a bit cooler, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it
And that's
has.
happened. It
It,
has.
it's
So
come across a very. I love. You're gorgeous. It's never date. It doesn't date.
no.
It's single
So
for the
You're
rest.
Gorgeous
Oh,
is.
thanks, Phil.
I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Yep, you did.
Okay, it's through into the quarterfinals. Baby Bird is in the QFs, and meanwhile, the House of Pain are in agony. They're feeling the agony of defeat.
Good fun. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, well done, Phil. Right, next up, it is everybody's favourite non-gun toting California hip hop star, shortest hip hop star in history. It is Skilo, and he wishes he was a little bit taller.
Oh
And it
my
is,
goodness! Yeah, okay.
and it is up against. I didn't even realise this was still in. I've just shocked myself when I pulled this one out.
Don't tell me it's something uncool.
It's Joan Osborne, One of Us.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
What if God was one of us?
She's done quite well, hasn't she?
She has, yeah, better than I thought she'd do.
Well, is she one of us, or are we going to do the dirty on her?
I'm doing the dirty on her
You're going for Skilo.
because it's just fun. It's self-deprecating. It's just better than One of Us. It means more. It means more to me. But then I can't win all these arguments. So at some point, I have
Yeah.
to compromise with you, Phil.
The Joan
So
Osborne song isn't a bad song. It's quite good.
it's not a bad song.
I've never liked it. I liked it more at the time. I don't like it as much as I did at the time, to be
Yeah.
honest.
But does
I
it
thought
make
it
you want to
was.
go, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a rabbit hat.
I can see how that. I can see the appeal of that one, although I don't. It's not one that I would want to put on myself to play.
Remember, Phil,
Um,
you got to get down with the kids.
I also don't wish I was a little bit taller because I'm
Tall.
tall enough, really, to be honest.
How tall are you now? 8'3".
Well, 6'3".
6'3". That's
You know,
tall.
give or take a foot or two.
I mean, if
But
you're Danny DeVito, that's tall.
yeah, I don't feel the need to be 6'4", to be honest.
No.
It would just mean more bangs on the head in certain
What about
doorways.
5'9"? Because he says about being 5'9" in the song. 5'9".
No, I wouldn't go for that. I wouldn't go for. I mean, if you were 5'8", you'd probably be wanting to be 5'9". But
Yeah. I mean, you can get on all the rides at any theme park now, can't you? Where you've got to be above so high to get on. So you're
yeah,
all right.
can't fit in the
6'3" 's nice.
can't fit in the back of certain cars, but not that that's necessarily a big problem. But you want Skilo to go through.
No, but
This is a familiar pattern because you want one of these sort of records to go through, and there's another record that's kind of maybe more grown up, but I don't like it that much to want to desperately defend it, So I don't feel this need to massively defend Joan Osborne.
I mean, we know Skilo's going to get knocked out at some point,
Whereas,
and Joan Osborne. So it doesn't matter when they're going to get knocked out. But then again, I'm leaving it in your hands, Philip.
if you were saying that Skilo are better than Wilco or Skilo are better than the Rolling Stones, then I would obviously have to argue. But none of those are one-hit wonders, and I'm not super passionate about Joan Osborne, and I can tell that you've got the passion for the Skilo. So
A little bit.
Skilo's going to get his wish,
Oh, he's.
and and Joan
Bye, Joan.
it's Joan Osborne.
Offborn. She's
Yeah.
no longer one of us.
Bye, Joan.
Bye, Joan. She's gone.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the first 4 drawn. That's the
Wow.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Almost inside 20 minutes. So that is the first half of the last 16. Join us for part 2 of round 3. Round 3, part 2. That's the one you need to look for. And we will draw 4 more heads to heads in the one hit wonders of the 90s. Thanks for watching.